All right, which series am I least excited to watch? Well, it's going to involve one of these two teams. I'll give you. Actually, no, maybe I'm more interested to see Cleveland than Boston. There's Mitchell. They go under on him. This is a huge three. He needs it, and they get it. Wow, that was the ATO. They knew they could get a three from Mitchell with Young going under on him, and the Heat desperately needed to make a shot. Now they're going to go out here. They switched Trey onto him. Trey broke his ankles for a three earlier. Trey's going to back out again. He's going to go for that same thing. They help with the nail off of Daniels. Daniels on the drive. Nice help by Highsmith. Tipped around, and Wiggins has it. Okongwu was spacing out Bam, but the Heat forwards were able to make the play at the rim and on the boards. Now it's Mitchell going right in, and he went for the foul, didn't get it. Mitchell's attacks haven't really worked here in the second. Young gets it to Okongwu. He fires another three. Nice rebound by Bam. He probably got fouled there, too. He'll push it up. He's been quiet offensively. He's guarded by Levert. They should get him the ball. Now Hero will attack. They force him left successfully. Oh, Bam waited too long to post up. Now he gets it. Gets off the ball. Wiggins run off the line. He'll drive it. Gives it up. Hero not in a shooting position. He'll fire. Good help by Daniels, and Hero cashes it anyway. One-point game. Hawks got to keep scoring here. That's been a problem for both teams. Trey taking too long to get him into the offense. Hawks don't take the use it or lose it timeout. Here's Man, tried Hero. They swing it to Levert. Highsmith, a great contest late. They never got really any kind of penetration that time. Hero had the open side pick and roll to Bam. Instead, he's open. They let him get to his right hand. If he goes right, he's very deadly. If you can keep him left, he's very ordinary. And the big problem for the Hawks has been they have not gotten good shots. That is 7 straight points for the Miami Heat to take a 1-point lead, and now Snyder is using his use it or lose it timeout. The secret to great playoff games is to make plans with your wife. It never fails. That's pretty good. Since this is my job, I don't make playoff plans with my wife during the playoffs, but I certainly understand why y'all would. All right, looks like Ja will be available tonight in the nightcap. I'm gonna just tweet us out again since I'm solo. Gotta seize the break as a chance to do that. So 1-point game here. Let's see what Quinn Snyder has cooked up. He got his Ulioli off with 1 second to spare. Trey will bring it up. Davion Mitchell has guarded him well. They go for that double drag with Hero waiting on the back. Young blocked by Bam. No call. Here's the push by Hero. He's going to try Levert in transition. Can't finish. Heat beat everyone down. Okongwu lucks into the rebound as he was late getting back. That was a huge miss at the rim. Niang quick three. Can't get it. That could have given him the lead. That block by Bam could end up being the most memorable play. Remember, he had one of the great blocks in NBA history on Jason Tatum. Again, Daniels keeping Hero off his right hand. Hero tries to attack, but he can't finish left. Kicks out. Highsmith has it. Oh, just in and out. Tipped in. I think that was Wiggins. Bam raised his hand. It might have been him. Devastating 9-0 run for the Heat. Bam switching on to Trey. This isn't the matchup Trey wants. He should get off the ball. Niang on the drive. And Mitchell, instead of walling up there, went for the steal. Niang's slow drives have been maybe the best Hawk offense tonight. All right, they get Trey onto Hero. Daniels is still there, forcing him left again. Hero stops back. Good contest, doesn't matter. You're just seeing the difference in the talent level here offensively. Hero rotates. Good rotation by Highsmith. He was on the ball on the other side. Now he rotates again, but Daniels is there. And this is all happening because Onyeka Okongwu has been shooting the ball really well as there's a steal in the backcourt, and Daniels almost had it. Okongwu's shooting has kept Bam, like he was on the strong side corner that time, and the lane was open. Let's watch this Hero drive on Daniels again. Gets the little forearm into his rib cage and just enough to get it off. And I'm sorry, Dyson Daniels, you want to be Defensive Player of the Year? You got to stop him in that situation. That's Tyler Hero. That's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Double screen coming here to Wiggins with Hero popping. Oh, man, he had Mitchell wide open in the corner. Totally missed him as they miscommunicated on the backside. Late clock, Bam. Tries Okongwu, just lost it. Oh, the tip by Highsmith. 3-point game. One-handed. It just lucked right to him. Mitchell tried to fall down. Now they double team Young off of that. Young on the drive and extension. And again, Bam, you see Bam is glued to Okongwu. Nowhere to be found at the basket. Wow, a frantic pace. Neither team has used a timeout under 3 minutes. Hero going at Trey. They're not going to switch it. Oh, they rescreen. Nice play. Hero's got a great look. Left it short. Hawks can take the lead here. Oh, they got to call timeout and advance it for a 2-for-1. They're not going to do that. They're going to blow the 2-for-1 here. Trey's looking for it. Here's the drive. Niang into Hero. Goes for the hook. Oh, he left it short. Highsmith has it, and now they have to foul because they didn't get the 2-for-1.
Hey, Nate. How you doing? Why the crap did Quinn Snyder call a timeout there? I muted myself because I was just going to yell the whole time.
Oh, well, Hawks should get at least one more chance at it here, but that is an absolute killer.
Sorry, I winded people. I just finished a bike ride uphill.
I mean, now, are you with the timeout? Sure, they could get Hero off the floor if they want to. That's not great. You've kind of got your offensive personnel on the floor. They don't have really designated shooters that they can bring in with this group. So personnel-wise, it makes more sense. But to give yourself 2 chances instead of one, down 1, I think you have to take that opportunity, even with the possibility of getting something in transition.
Though one positive for the Hawks is that they do still. Well, now they had 2 timeouts. I was thinking, well, at least they still have one left.
Yeah.
No, they have 2.
Yeah, they had 2 at that. That's why I was so surprised they didn't elect to take it. Yeah, I mean, I got no problems with Niang taking these shots. These are good shots. Open 3, like Trey hasn't been able to get good looks. Like who else are you going to, honestly? Like he's gotten into the lane. They've got Okongwu spreading the floor. So first they're going to have to get it in bounds. Hero obviously is the guy that they want to find. So let's see if they leave Trey in here. Of course they're going to for no reason. They should be getting athletes in to deny the ball in bounds. Mitchell, they should foul him. He's not a great free throw shooter. He get it ahead, and now Hero has it, and they have to foul him. That was a missed opportunity. I know they wanted to trap in the backcourt, but Mitchell was the guy who's not. I mean, what is his career free throw percentage? I think it might be under 70%.
I was thinking it was around 70.
At a minimum, he never gets signed. Oh, and that actually, I didn't realize they weren't in the bonus. A common mistake with TNT. And now, Daniels, he got a hand on it. They have a timeout left.
Oh,
they have a challenge left.
So Davion Mitchell shooting exactly 70% on free throws.
Oh, they have a challenge remaining.
That's off. It was off Daniels' foot.
Daniels' leg, yeah. They get it in barely. They'll let it go into the backcourt, and now number 14 fouls number 14 And that's the guy the Heat want with the game on the line at the foul line. With Atlanta still amazingly having 2 timeouts, they won't be stuck necessarily having to go for a 3 right away. I probably would if you can get one off. And Miami, do you think this is too early for them to play the 3-point foul game if he makes them both?
I don't think it's too early, but I don't know that I would do it this early. I think I'd probably wait until about 8.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla
Atlanta
would have done it 5 minutes ago, but
Atlanta uh, maybe if he misses this free throw, they just push it up. Otherwise, I think they'll surely take time out to advance it. Hero with the chance to give the Heat a 3-point lead. No, he missed it. Then they are not going to go. They will take the timeout here. Will the Heat take Tyler Hero out? I would certainly consider doing that.
I think they'll consider it. The Heat still do have one timeout left, so if they get a stop here, they could probably get a timeout before. And if the Hawks make a shot, then you could get a timeout.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think you should take Hero out here. Who would they put in those?
Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, that would be probably the right guy.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't go double big here in that sort of a circumstance.
No. You also don't necessarily trust Ware. Now we've seen a lot recently, down to in the final seconds, teams score relatively easily because teams are so concerned about giving up the 3 and just losing the game right there. Whereas, especially if they go earlier, you can win the game in regulation, and then you also obviously have a chance in overtime as well. So the math says don't give up a 3 here. But if you're going to give up a 75% chance at a 2, the math's probably not that high. But we will, I think, see them have a better chance at getting a 2. So it's crazy that the Hawks don't have a better player offensively to put in than Dyson Daniels here. It's incredible. Like Vic Krejci played 8 minutes. I think it was all in the first half. So they're not going to go with him ice cold right now. And they're going to stick with Hero. Hero is guarding Daniels, so the 2 liabilities guarding each other. Daniels is just going to space out. I would have tried to maybe use him as a screener. They barely get it into Chicago. Time away.
Pressure. Oh,
that was about to be a steal. Young. And what do they got here? A blocking foul on Mitchell. That is the foul to give. Did you like that foul if it was semi-intentional there? As Snyder will take another timeout.
I don't think the Hawks were threatening there. No, that to me is more like the one that we've seen teams do where it's kind of the auto. He did go for a steal, but it wasn't a threatening position for the Hawks. I would not have done that. I mean, it was already down to almost, it was like 7 when Davion went for the steal. Like I don't think I would have. I think I would have tried to wait a little bit longer.
So the Heat, this is something that they do a lot on out of bounds plays, is try to deny the ball in bounds. And while that could be a little bit higher risk, most NBA out of bounds plays are not made to just like back cut you and take advantage of that.
Except for that one by Jalen Duren in the Pistons game.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right. So baseline out of bounds is different because you can get something right at the rim. Sideline out of bounds, you also limit the other team's options if they're like really worried about getting it in on a play like this. So I mean, Okongwu, he's stuck here, almost turned it over. Trey barely saved him.
I wonder if Bam, it's such a hard decision to make. If he could have just continued kind of turning that direction and put a double on Trey, and then considering they had the foul to give.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then you're concerned about giving up a 3. It's completely insane to me that Kyle Anderson is not in here.
Robbie said, does the Heat Org want to win this game? Yes, absolutely, because of the draft pick implications, which we'll talk about on the pod.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't actually if I were them, but let's see. Here they go. Wiggins is on Trey. They get it into him. 6 seconds. Trey going at Wiggins. Goes up. And he made it. 1.3 left. Heat are going to get a timeout here. And you see it right there. They didn't have what would be their normal help principles because they're worried about giving up a three. Wiggins lets Trey get hard to his right hand. Trey's probably best move is that right to left crossover for a three. He was worried about that, but a really nice finish by Trey Young, who has not been doing it that well.
Crib asked, or no, somebody asked if that was close to an and one. There wasn't enough contact there for that to be an and one for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like, that's a nice design by Quinn Snyder. And I thought Hero was a little bit too credulous of that Daniels cut. That's a big reason that they run those is just to kind of mess up the help principles. Hero, yeah, you're just going to run after Dyson Daniels running towards the sideline. He's not really a threat over there. And after that, everyone was on the left side. The whole right side opens up for Trey Young to attack. So right now, Hero surely will be the target, but you got to, with 1.3 left, there needs to be a component going to the basket. They're going to go with Mogay. I think Snyder is going to take out Trey now,
Oh,
would be my guess.
and since we're back to playback, reminder: no spoilers anywhere. If you're ahead, just hold your horses. Wait until it's on the screen. We've called it before you react in the text.
So Anderson now will be the inbounder. Not enough time for him to get the ball back. Hero is way in the backcourt. He's going to try to maybe run more of a football pattern to get open. Bam. Comes off the screen. They get it to Wiggins. He'll turn over LeVert. And that could have sent the Miami Heat to the playoffs for the first time ever as a 10 seed by any team. Instead, 5 minutes of extra basketball. Should be 2, but
Or 3. I think 3 would be fine.
yeah, Hero just stood in the backcourt. The whole play was for Wiggins. I don't mind that. Wiggins, to me, with 1.3 left, is the best guy to get a shot off over a smaller player. Hero is maybe a little bit better off the dribble. He's a little shorter, so kind of harder for him to rise up. I still wish there had been more of a basket back screening type of component to that play. Like, you always want to give yourself an out first, getting right to the rim, and then if they defend that, everything else you do becomes easier. All right, I'll be back momentarily here.
From Thomas, thoughts on an Elam ending for overtime? I think it's reasonable. The challenge with that in the current NBA structure is because it's an indeterminate time, does that change anything in terms of how you want to do with fouling and fouling out? But I think it's fine. I would prefer, for me, 3 minutes or 2 minutes is better than an Elam ending, but both of those are better than 5 minutes. John says, "How can I pause since I'm ahead?" The best thing to do is probably go to YouTube. I'll put the link. I'll put the link in because YouTube. Wait, if you're ahead of us, it depends on which way you're watching the game. If you're watching like on a TV, you can slow it down. Oh God, we used to have all these crazy tricks for that. And if you're behind us, yeah, then go to YouTube. Here, I'll put the link in. Because on YouTube there's a pause button. And so with that, then you can slow us down. You could slow us down and make it work. And the YouTube, so you could, if you don't, you could follow Nate on, like, all that's on through the link. You could follow Nate on YouTube, and then you could just, we'll ping there. We kind of cross stream, so you can use that. You could use playback. We're happy with both, and especially if you're international, you should definitely use playback.
Yeah, set yourself an alert for when we go live, which we will be doing, of course, throughout the playoffs. Our schedule, going to do Clippers Nuggets tomorrow and Warriors Rockets the day after that. So in the overtime, This has been the group for Miami. They've gone with the 3 defenders, Hero and Bam. Hawks have really struggled to score. Niang is off the floor. They're going with Man instead to start the OT. Man is on Wiggins. They screen for Bam, who screens for Wiggins, but he picked up his dribble in a weird place. Now the Horns action, back screen. They wanted to get Wiggins on Trey. They probably should have just thrown that ball. Good kick out by Levert, though. Wiggins, spin move, off balance. No, tipped out. Highsmith. Okongwu has it. And a bad foul by Wiggins in the backcourt.
Yeah, that seems like a version of a frustration foul, is trying to do something after he missed the shot and just went for it. No one in significant foul trouble. Terrence Mann has 4. A couple guys have 3. I'll mention if they get to 4 beyond, so we should be okay from that perspective.
Oh, man. Man was wide open. They thought there was a tip. They have a challenge. They could use it here. But he got it in quickly. Usually the referees will give you a chance if there's some controversy to look at the bench and decide if you want to challenge. Mitchell, Young did well to get through the screen into traffic. No real advantage gained, but they swing it quickly to Hero.
Good ball movement there from the Heat. You have to capitalize pretty quickly, but they were able to get that 3 for Hero.
Double team on Trey. They don't give up the switch. Trey somehow got it back. That was a cheeky move by him. Basically, he almost pretended like he got stripped and then got a live dribble to finish. Same play they just ran. A little Spain action here. No real advantage gained. Mitchell will take the step back. Davion Mitchell, second time he's hit that on Trey Young in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Now it's with 13 on the clock.
Trey tried to draw the foul, and he walked.
We've seen, and you and I have invoked Chris Paul with this in the past. I think we've seen a few plays in this game where Trey Young's foul drawing has directly led to failed possessions for the Hawks.
Yeah, attempted foul drawing, I guess, but Mitchell has done a great job of not fouling him except on that foul to give Daniels. Hero only got it across with 1 second to spare. Daniels was pressuring him. They get the switch of Levert onto Hero. Force him left, though. Now Okongwu, who's been impenetrable on these plays. Hero gets off the ball. Daniels overhelped. That's another defensive player of the year. Does not make that call. And this is a great job by Davion Mitchell. He saw that Terrence Mann was just running down the floor. He's ostensibly guarding the guy. You see the guy running, that's setting a screen, and it's illegal if he's close to the ball like that.
And that's at least the second offensive foul I think that Terrence Mann has had in this game, which you wouldn't expect from a perimeter player.
Yeah, and that is illegal. It's a kind of a cheap play. Jalen Brunson is probably the best at drawing the foul in that situation. So screen for Bam first here by Hero. They get into the Spain pick and roll with Wiggins. Wiggins picked up by Okongwu. Bam, it's like they can't throw it to Bam against Terrence Mann down there. Instead, Wiggins goes through Okongwu, and it's a 9-point Miami lead. Surely even the Heat can't blow this, right? Trey gets Hero involved in the pick and roll. Okongwu has a 3 over the Cornet contest of Bam. Bam had rotated over to catch the roll man when they double teamed at the point of attack, and that left the corner open. Good ball movement by the Hawks. They want to involve Trey here with Mitchell on the ball. Trey forcing Mitchell to the baseline and ice covers to get Bam on the floater. Help came. Bam not able to finish it. I would like to see more of a power move from him that time. Trey switched onto by Bam. Trey crossed him over. Trey, man, Adebayo's got to get rid of that Cornet contest. They're making it every time over him. Now Trey trying to pressure up. He almost got a steal. Oh, lucky it went to Wiggins. Wiggins attacking man behind the back. Daniels almost had the steal. He left Hero wide open, and he drains
what a mistake.
I thought he had the steal. That was great recognition by Wiggins. I thought he was dead to rights. He saw it just in time and knew exactly where the double had come from, and Mitchell picks up another foul.
And that is the first foul in the last 2 minutes for the Heat.
Yeah, Trey, same move he loves to go to. That's punch, dribble, and then a step back between the legs. But Daniels has given up 2 3-pointers by overhelping here in the fourth. 4 of 4. We haven't How did these two teams haven't missed a 3 in all of overtime? Off the ball, Levert denied well by Hero. Daniels going to have to go at Wiggins. Not an advantage matchup at all. He wishes up a floater. Levert got the rebound. Okongwu on the drive. Bam with good defense. Rebounded by... It's loose. And he tried to get a timeout. I think it's going to be Hero and Levert in this
I think it's a jump ball.
Yeah. It definitely is a jump ball. Who are the principals here? It's going to be, looks like Levert and Hero. Mitchell alertly tried to call timeout, but they said that Hero did not have sole possession at that point. Interesting jump ball here. Levert's got the length advantage. Hero maybe a little bit better of a leaper. What always matters here is the geometry.
I feel like Hero's more likely to know to quick tip this because they're never going to call a violation.
And Levert got it. Bam intercepted it. It's still loose. Bam almost committed a foul. Okongwu has it. Can they get a 3 here? Levert's wide open on the right wing. Oh, left it short. The first missed 3 of overtime by anyone. And that's a foul. Not a bad foul there. Atlanta certainly at this point down 6 should be crashing the glass with everybody they can. This could have cut it to 3. Levert didn't maybe make the cleanest catch of it.
And so for Miami here, are you trying to do anything more complicated? I mean, I always like a little bit of early action than just try to run this down, because if you're up 6 with 40,
you run it down. Absolutely run it down with a 6-point lead. Get it down to 35 seconds. Hawks have to call timeout to get the 2-for-1 after this too. Here's Mitchell. Hero is in the way there. Mitchell's going to just try Trey 1-on-1. There's that step back again. Oh, we got the rebound. What a pass, too. And the Heat are alive. They have to foul here now. No, they don't. Not with 14. Here's the Hero on the drive. Kick out. Wiggins. Mitchell to send the Heat into the playoffs. Yes.
Good night, Atlanta. Davion Mitchell, 9 points in overtime, right? 9 points and at least 1 foul drawn.
Yep, and great defense on Trae Young as well. Trae, that is a great rebound by Mitchell. He knew where it was going. Trae had no idea he was under pressure, and then he knocks down the final shot here. And the Heat are going to be the first ever 10 seed to advance to the playoffs. We could talk about that draft pick thing, actually. We are getting some debate on that in the comments.
So the short version of it for people who are less familiar is that the Heat owe their pick to the Thunder this year if the Heat make the playoffs. If the Heat miss the playoffs, then the Heat retain their pick this year and give the Thunder their pick next year. There's an additional ripple effect because of an additional owed pick, that if the Heat retained their pick this year, they give the Hornets their unprotected pick in 2028. So some people like me have said that it's better to keep that lottery protection on the second pick, but there's a credible argument that, hey, you could get a lottery pick this year. Who knows what you would have given up next year?
Well, and also, it's not like it's the 14th pick. But that's the thing. Like, it's going to be like, what, 9 or 10? Probably, at worst.
Because of all the teams in the West.
Yeah. So Hawks now will try to get it in. I'm not really even that concerned about what's going to happen. This would be the greatest playoff collapse in NBA history if the Hawks are able to come back.
So, Nate, it would be 11 if the Heat kept it.
Yeah. Or they could get into the top 4. What are their chances of getting into the top 4 even?
About 9%.
Yeah. Yeah, so Heat led it by 9 at the start of the 4th. Hawks came back, took to a brief lead. They had the big 3-point shooting advantage in the fourth. Trey had the tying shot. But yeah, Davion Mitchell, some of the biggest shots of the game. I think, is this true that all 4 of his threes were in the fourth quarter and overtime?
I think that's right. I'm trying to remember when the
At
first one
least
was,
3
but
of them were, because I specifically remember 3 of them.
yeah.
See if we got any YouTube. How many games can they steal from the Cavs? This will be a 5-game series. I'm For my own personal rooting interests, I am I'm annoyed that the Heat made it, because they're gonna make every game close. They'll probably win one, or they'll never be a remote threat to win the series, but we're gonna actually have to pay attention to the series now. The Hawks would have less than 0 chance.
Okay, so if the Hawks missing the playoffs, what pick? Assuming they don't jump in the lottery, what pick do the Spurs get?
Yeah, let's
Probably
see.
12.
Yeah, and the Thunder, if you were the Thunder, would you have been rooting for this outcome? I don't think OKC gets screwed by this. Like, they're gonna get the 15th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
All right, I should have picked Miami to make it here. When I did it with John, I picked Miami to make it and the Hawks not to make it. So I think I got 100% in our eliminate teams from the playoffs in the East.
Mm.
Obviously, the West was pretty easy. Scheduled for the playback games. Yeah, so we're doing, tomorrow is going to be Clippers Nuggets. Then we're going to do Warriors Rockets the night after that. Yeah, we do. There is an actual Google Calendar of when we're doing it. I think Dan has added to that, I want to say, that you can subscribe to, but I'm too frazzled right now to actually find the link for you guys. Maybe I'll ask Dan to put it in the chat if he's not busy. All right, give me a second here. Take a quick break before the next game. All right, let's get rolling here, and this will be a fascinating matchup as well. Do I still have Maxi over Hero? Yeah, I would say so, considering some of those playoff games that Maxi put up. I think Maxi's better on defense too. Maxi had a tough year. Obviously, Hero had a pretty good year. And maybe you could make the argument that Hero's a little bit better on a lower level team, that he can create a little bit more. But Maxey, I think the level Heroes never reached to me the level that Maxey reached a year ago, even with Embiid helping him. But when it really matters, you are going to have other good players helping you, and Hero has played with other really good players and hasn't reached that level yet. Quinn Snyder's legacy take a hit. I think yes. Uh, we'll see what happens with the Spurs job this offseason and whether I'm sure he would be interested there. Would they be interested in him? One of my favorite referees, David Guthrie. This is a good jump ball here too.
Yeah.
And the Mavs have won it. They're going with this jumbo point guardless starting lineup. They immediately go at Morant. They don't switch it, and Morant immediately veers back for the steal. We'll have to take a look at how the ankle is looking for him. They throw it to the corner, wide open three. Jackson, 3-0 Memphis.
And the defensive matchups, I'm sure you talked about it in the short rest I took. The matchups are going to be so fascinating in this defensively with Edey.
Yeah, they've really run a lot of point guard stuff through Washington. That's what they did in the 9-10 game. Davis against Jackson pulls the jumper. That shot will be there for him all day. He's going to have to make it. Here's more transition for Memphis. That's a huge battleground. Jackson working on Thompson. Blocked from behind. Edey underneath. Beautiful left-hand finish.
A nice touch there. And Jaren Jackson getting touches in front of the three-point line is going to be something we're going to watch closely here.
Pippen is on Thompson. Thompson, the one-legged running three. Morant on the push. Pulls his own three-pointer. Not close.
That Clay three made me think of that OKC Game 6 in 2016. It's like
there's no reason why you can't make that shot at a reasonably high clip. It's just not something that anybody has done. If you go back to like the 50s, in Hoosiers, there's almost a steal by Morant, and they do get the steal. More transition. Jai gonna try him. Goes behind the back. Pippen, little floater. 7-0 Mavs. Or sorry, Grizzlies. And they have done it through transition and semi-transition. Thompson setting the screen for Jackson. And another steal. Pippen got it that time. He's tripped. Great pressure by the likes of Pippen and Morant here early. Yeah, this is 3 steals already for Memphis. 2 by Morant, 1 by Pippen. Bain switched on to by Lively. They back out. I think he should get off the ball here. He's going to try to back up. It goes to the yo-yo, tripped. I don't think that's an advantage matchup for Memphis. Here comes Marshall. Kicks it out. Why didn't he just shoot that? Instead, it's a 3 from Thompson, and well, I guess 3 is better than 2.
Yeah, I thought he had the shot in the first place.
Morant on the attack, hit from behind by Washington. He flies into the cameras. And one of the things that's difficult with an ankle issue, you can kind of see him limping there, is stopping. It's really hard to just put your foot in the ground and stop when you have that swollen ankle, which he is dealing with. Let's see if anything happens to him here. Yeah, that can't have felt good. He was trying to land on that left foot to avoid going into the stands.
And since Bricklayer Joe mentioned it in the comments, if the Grizzlies lose this game, they keep their first round pick because of the lottery protection in the Marcus Smart trade. And they don't give it in the future. It's a 1-year cliff.
Morant going under on Marshall. I think Marshall is the best way to attack Morant. Help from Jackson off the corner of Davis. Davis hit a bunch of those corner threes the other night. Davis on the save? No, his foot was on the line. Morant wants to go fast. Davis, the referee did him a favor by taking their time. It is a dead ball, so you are supposed to allow him to reset there. Here's Ja off the Edey screen. Gets to his spot, picked up by Lively. Pippen gets it back to Morant. Let's see if Morant can take Lively here. He wants him. Crossover to his right. Oh, got him in the air. That's got to be a foul. How
How
isn't
is that
it?
not a foul? He was on his back.
I thought he just landed on him. Lively going to the short floater, Davis, and he's clubbed by Edey.
Foul trouble will, of course, be huge in this one. Edey getting in foul trouble or Izalo feeling uncomfortable with him, that's going to put just very different Grizzlies on the floor. Santi Aldama, potentially a few others, maybe J Huff. Nate has been advocating for it. So we'll keep an eye on it.
So the other thing, of course, with the Heat having made it that we can think about is the Sacramento Kings and their pick. The Hawks, by winning, could have ensured that, or just about ensured that they would have gotten that pick. By losing, they now put that pick into jeopardy from the Kings. Bane going to get a double screen to go at Clay. Now they go into the pick and roll with Edey. Bane splits it, goes down the lane, kick out. Jackson, quick release. Nice pass there. One thing I've noted, Danny, since Izalo took over, a lot more Jaren Jackson spacing the floor, and then they throw it away. Marshall, he's a good passer for a forward, but he also can get a little loose. Here's Bane, another split, went into Lively. If he had shot that, I think he would have got the foul. Instead, it's a turnover. Thompson over Pippen. Yes.
Klay Thompson has 6 of the 8 Mavericks points now.
Both threes coming in transition off of turnovers by the Grizz. Morant downhill. Goes around Derek Lively, and that may be a makeup call there. But that's interesting that they're not switching that now. They changed up. Maybe it's just that they switched the angle of the screen, getting Lively out of position. But it looked like he was preparing to drop. How's Morant looking to you early?
Better than I expected, still way less than 100%.
Yeah, he's been effective so far, though. They haven't really been able to take advantage of defensive either. Good job by Pippen getting through the screen on Thompson. They're running this play for him. They're trying to post up Thompson now. Davis guarded by Edey. Edey, I thought, did pretty decently against Jimmy Butler the other day. That was a matter of some controversy. Marshall has to take the tough pull-up, Jay, and he makes it. Wow. But the Grizz will live with that shot.
Dallas's half-court offense is not exactly inspiring a lot of confidence.
Here's Morant trying to force him left into the help. Here's Pippen's three-pointer. That's good. Thompson was in the gap. One pass away. That's a semi-contested three, but Pippen can make that shot. Going under on Marshall. Marshall finding Lively underneath. Edey is still there, though. They kick it out. Washington above the break. Left it short. Do you like the Morant on Marshall matchup, or would you go elsewhere?
As the Grizzlies?
Yes.
I would go elsewhere because Marshall, he kind of really focuses on doing one thing, and that one thing will be pretty effective against Ja. I would actually probably rather put Morant on PJ Washington.
Yeah, that certainly Washington would try to post him up a little bit more and use his size. There's not a great option because you don't want him chasing Thompson around screens either. Like, probably his biggest weakness is his overall inattentiveness, and his biggest strength is some of the plays he can make as a help defender. Davis and Morant, of course, had gone up against one another in 2023, a series in which the Lakers made short work of the Grizz.
Yeah, that helped inspire some of the changes that we saw from the Grizzlies after that, including, of course, no Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I think the putting him on Marshall is working okay so far. He's going to go under. There's a lot of help at the rim. Jackson, an early sub. This is his usual pattern. Exum is in for Dallas. Aldama on to Davis. Davis, good help by Ja. And there's another steal. They are turning it over left and right. Bane Conchar into the corner. Aldama, the better shooter, will take it instead. Edey just taking up space inside. And Marshall with the initial foul there. He also got hit in the face, but he's going to pick up a foul for his trouble.
And that is the 4th team foul on the Dallas Mavericks.
So the Grizz transition really hurting Dallas. And the Dallas turnovers have been an absolute killer as well.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull the kind of some of the. I think it might be a little too early for some of the cleaning the glass stuff, but let's take a look. Okay, obviously too early a sample, but just for funsies, Dallas, 20 points per 100 possessions, first shot, half court offense. So 20 points per 100 plays. Memphis 157.1.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably got 2 points on 10 possessions, would be my guess. And I assume those 2 Klay Thompson threes, which comprise 60% of Dallas's points, are in transition.
Yes, they are. Dallas has they're 2.67 points per transition play so far. That's pretty good. Namir asked, is it time for Brandon Williams? Yes, it is absolutely time for Brandon Williams. I wondered whether they should start him.
Yeah, I think they're just. The Grizz have done a really nice job of getting in the gaps and forcing turnovers. So I think they need a steadier hand. They've got Exum in first, but both of those guys might make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to remember that defense wins championships, according to certain people. Question of, is this Maverick starting lineup the worst playmaking in a postseason game ever?
Oh,
I would guess that there are games like late in series where like both teams both of the team's point guards were hurt, something like that.
There was the Wolves when they had to play KG at point guard.
Oh, my god.
in 2004. That was pretty tough with Troy Hudson and Sam Cassell both out.
Also, like Dallas, they have guards, they're just not starting them. I mean, Exum can create some. Dinwiddie, who basically didn't play in the first play-in game, and then Brandon Williams, of course. So, like, they have guys who can do it. They're just not choosing not to play them in the starting lineup. More likely to be on their current team at 26-27, LeBron or Anthony Davis. I mean, I'm going to go with AD for a couple of reasons. One is that Nico Harrison, assuming and I think he will be the person who does this, is pretty pot committed in terms of giving him an extension. And I think,
oh, dude, by the way, we got to do a Watfo on how long Nico Harrison sticks around.
Sure, we could do that at some point.
So let us know in the comments. What is like the appropriate time to pick of whether he will still be employed by? End of next season would be my initial thought.
Like June 1st, 2026.
That is some terrible trash talk. Come on. What is that? It's way too genial.
I'm a little mad. Well, I am excited if Dallas loses this game for the stuff that we're gonna get out of this the Dallas situation. I don't want to wait until after a playoff series. I'm generally a very patient person. I am not patient on this specific thing.
Yeah, Nico's next job, probably, what do you think, Under Armour? He's been one of their most important employees because he let Steph Curry go by putting the wrong name on the PowerPoint. Or not, someone working under him probably did that, but so they switch Edey onto Exum into the post. Aldama against Davis. Double team comes. I don't like that double team. Make him prove he can score on Aldama. Now they're going to give up something good here. And it's wide open in the corner. Thompson, he missed it. I don't understand why they need a double team right there. Pick and roll Ja. Engages Davis. He's got Edey underneath. Steps through. Almost walked. Edey tips it in. (23-10) Memphis. Here's Thompson off the screen. Conchar stayed with him underneath. It's Davis with his first bucket. But the Grizz are relentless in transition.
Apologies, I didn't realize I was muted.
But there you go. AD scores that, never gets back into the play, and an easy layup for Bane in transition. They go under on Exum. Now Davis against Edey. Backs off of him, takes the jumper, and hits. 2 in a row for Davis. Bane off the drag screen again. He fires it. No, instead it's Aldama going down the lane for the easy floor. I mean, this is too easy for the Grizz. They are destroying Dallas's transition defense here. Part of it's been that they've turned it over so much, but this is not your father's Mavs transition defense. And AD didn't catch what happened to him there. Did maybe he banged a knee?
I didn't see much, but he didn't step out. I thought he should have stepped out on the Aldama drive, but maybe he just could.
Here's Davis again. He's looking for 3 in a row. Fell down. They're going to get more transition here because he fell down. He's jogging back. Aldama, good rotation by Washington, but Aldama goes right through him. Oh! Oh, no!
Oh!
He came out of nowhere!
Okay, the ankle's at least pretty good.
Whoa!
Oh!
Not a very good box out by Najee Marshall. You give this man a runway, and he is going to take off.
He could have Frederick Weissed his own teammate there.
Look at that head. Oh, man. What a dunk.
Oh, I thought when they did the crowd thing back that they were going to get to see the wide crowd shot on that dunk because I would love to see that angle. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
I think we may have that at the beginning of the pod.
Wow.
Yeah, but part of the benefit when the other team can't get transition is, yeah, point guard, go ahead for a tip dunk.
Incredible.
So reports from Mike Curtis that AD is tapping his left leg while talking to the medical staff on the bench. I mean, it was pretty. If he does, we had a question in the comments too about the surgery for AD. If he does get it, which and you can play through stuff. It seems insane to me that they would have brought him back if he was going to get that surgery. He might have insisted on it, but that recovery is not that bad. It's like a 2-monther probably. So he'll be ready for the start of next season, but you wish he would get more of an off season. Like that's more important is for him to get an off season. Yeah, this is Christian Clark had this stat 14-2 points in the paint right now for Memphis.
Yeah, let me pull up the shot charts. I was been wanting to do that. I forgot to do it at the stoppage. Dallas's first shot half court 0.43 per play. That's not great.
It's not getting a lot better. Is common consensus still Dallas would have been a top 6 West playoff team when healthy? Not sure what offensive sets they rely on. I do think a big part of Nico's miscalculation was believing that Anthony Davis is a much better offensive player than he is. I'm still of the belief that Davis is kind of laboring, and we'll see if he gets the surgery afterwards. Like he has not been himself, but he also is just not someone that I really trust to create offense one-on-one or draw a huge reaction from the defense. Great pick and roll player. They don't have any pick and roll ball handlers right now, but Kyrie is not really that type of pick and roll passer either. And so I think if they were healthy, like if Kyrie and AD all both played 70 games throughout a season, I mean, I wouldn't say they're necessarily top 6. They would have to have a top 5 defense. I don't think they would be a top half of the league offense.
Especially because they're like the non-Kyrie minutes when we're talking about both the times when he sits and the games that he's unavailable, they just don't have enough guys. And that's the hardest thing to get is like players who can generate good shots.
Yeah, so AD is on the court. And another block, this time by Jackson. And this will be more transition for the Grizz. Morant went down, though, and they get it back. Good defense by Morant to stop the attack of Exum. Trying to get it to AD in the post, and they're going to get, our first asinine Jaren Jackson foul. And they're playing Marvin Bagley for some reason.
Well, we can't see Luka Doncic in the Mavericks game. We might as well see one of the guys taking over him.
So it looks like here, actually, that was not a foul. It was, they did not reset the shot clock, apparently. Oh, no, now they will. Yeah. The problem was they should have done it, and they didn't.
Yeah, in the kind of the scramble.
No Brandon Williams yet. Max Christie is on the floor, as is Caleb Martin. Spain pick and roll, disguised and set up. Martin going at Aldama, didn't take the open shot. Instead, it'll be Exum. Stepped around Jackson. That should have been a foul on Jackson, I thought. Maybe he jumped straight up, but
I don't think he jumped straight up. We didn't have a great angle on it, but that looked like a foul to me.
Yeah, 15-point game. Morant. Look, top to Bagley. That's why they brought him in. They wanted Morant to continue to have a role man to work with when Edey went out of the game. That's why they're doing this, and they immediately got a dunk out of it. Bagley pushing AD further on the floor. AD also, he just holds the ball for 5 seconds before he even starts his attack. Jackson came over, and that might have bounced in. Instead, Gafford with the offensive basket interference.
Yeah, we didn't have the same angle, somewhat similar to the one that Edey did not get called for late in the game. Was that against the Warriors? Yeah, it was.
17-point game here. Double screen coming. Same play they just ran. Bagley releases again. Ja this time setting up Aldama. Good trap in the box by Gafford. Out to Ja. Step back three. Ja is feeling it.
And it is
what a first quarter.
A 20-point game. Ja Morant so far, 12 points, 3 assists.
And he's got, I think, 3 steals too. They'll try Davis again here. So deliberate, but the help a little bit too late there maybe on the pre-rotation by Jaren Jackson. Ja off the drag again. Stuck underneath. Guns it to the corner. Oh, what a no-dip 3 attempt. And it'll stay here. Ja kept it alive.
And it's so heartening to see Ja Morant after the injury playing this well. Like and that bodes well theoretically for what seems likely to be a first-round series against the Thunder.
Pippen Jr. will replace him. And we're going to get an illegal screen here on Bagley. Yeah, we have not seen Luke Kennard yet.
Since I don't think I mentioned it, PJ Washington has 2 fouls.
Yeah, this is a big group right now. Aldama at the 3, Jackson, and Bagley. So Brandon Williams finally in. He'll be guarded by Pippen. Looking to attack him immediately. And he missed the layup, and this is going to be more transition. Pippen on the push. Leaves it for Aldama's 3-point attempt. Cash.
This isn't anywhere close to the earliest are we done here, but are we done here?
Let's see what happens the rest of this quarter. we got a lot of work to do in these playoffs. I don't know if I want to waste it on this.
Oh no, we'll do that at the next stoppage. There's a good question in the playback comments I want to do.
There's Davis. They go under on him. I mean, you're not coming back from a 21-point deficit with that shot. They've got to increase their defense here. But the offense is putting the defense in an impossible position. Bane, good attack on Williams. Goes through him. Williams stood pretty tall. It's tipped around. Can they finally get transition? Edey, great job running back there. He picks up Gafford. Aldama into the corner. Williams, left-handed pass underneath. That's a beautiful look.
And a nice finish there by Daniel Gafford. Jaren, he went kind of low for the steal instead of going high for the block and committed a foul.
Yeah, that was a sick no-look lefty pass on the baseline. Williams, for those of y'all who haven't heard me wax poetic about him, I think he's got one of the best handles in the NBA. He's making spot-up threes, not hitting him off the dribble yet, but he obviously is dynamic. I know he missed that first layup, but they need somebody who can handle the ball. I mean, Brandon Williams might be their best offensive player, Danny. Especially with AD in this state. Bain switched on to by Gafford. They move it quickly. Aldama shot it over Washington, but off the heel. Williams off the drag screen into the lane. Gafford tried to roll out of there. Edey standing tall underneath. He's guarding Caleb Martin. Martin not making him pay at all. If Jimmy Butler couldn't beat him, he did a few times. I mean, they're just going to keep trying this. Tries for the blow by and couldn't get it. Pippen can't run it down. Fresh shot clock. Mavs could get a 2-for-1 here. Off the screen, Christie fires. Good late contest, but not perturbed was Max Christie. And this is a big 6-0 run by Dallas.
Yeah, and I like that action a little bit better. Even Christie pull-up threes aren't necessarily the diet, but it was a good shot in rhythm.
Oh, nice pass by Pippen, and Edey had to be tripped from behind. That was a good look.
And both teams are in the bonus. So this will be 2 free throws for Edey. And Nate, you brought it up earlier that how big the Grizzlies were. They got even bigger after that because they subbed out Bagley and replaced him with Zach Edey. So they're playing Aldama at the 3, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4, and Zach Edey at the 5.
Well, it's pretty remarkable, too, that Edey, not something you think of as a big minute player in the NBA, but he did it in college, not with the same defensive responsibilities. They got him right back into the game as soon as they possibly could.
Yeah, it looks like this will be about a 10-minute first quarter for Zach Edey.
That might be a lane violation.
On like 4 guys. It was Giannis-esque.
And it's going to be a double lane violation. At Jaren, it's like saying, that something should happen, but like, why didn't you just wait? Especially as the offensive guy. Why are you lane violating when the defensive guy goes in first? It's one thing to react if you're the defensive guy to the offensive guy. The offensive guy should never react to the defensive guy.
Maybe you wanted the jump ball.
They did win the jump ball, though. Here's Bain. Pippen goes out of there. It's Bain on the drive and the finish. Not good enough rim protection there from Davis. Here's Williams on the push. He's going to get all the way there. Wow.
Wow.
I told you all about his handle.
And his burst, too. I mean, that was impressive.
Yeah, John's like, hey, that's my job. All right, I'll be right back.
So the question I wanted to do is from Hito Turkoglu Amundsen. Also enjoy the name. Do you ever feel a tension between wanting to see teams be constructed optimally versus the great content that come from bad GMing? Yes, constantly. And the way that I have eventually reconciled that is I'm aggrieved when my aggrievedness is directly proportional to the ceiling or overall quality of the team. You could think of it as the missed opportunity of things going. And so if it's a team that I don't think has a great ceiling, so, the Kings adding DeRozan and that going poorly, okay, that's the sort of thing that can happen. Or the Caruso, in some ways, a great reflection of this is the Caruso for Giddey trade, where it took a player that I wanted on a good team and put them onto a good team. Whereas even though I thought it was a terrible move for the Bulls, so things like that. But if a really good team, a great team makes a mistake that significantly worsens things for them, especially if I disagreed with it, then that bothers me because that reduces the best case scenarios. It reduces the quality of the playoffs, all those sorts of things. So and the Luka Doncic trade is such a fascinating part of this because we'll see what the Lakers end up doing this year, and they of course have had some really good moments since the trade happened. But I was frustrated, and of course Kyrie Irving then subsequently got hurt. With not saying there's causation there, but you could argue that the Luka trade in some ways that it definitely made the Mavericks less interesting and all that, but we couldn't have predicted the injuries would come. From let's see, from Crib, do the Pelicans blow it up this offseason? I don't think they do. I think that ownership bringing in Joe Dumars to me makes me think that they're just kind of going to keep this going. If they might do a Zion thing, there's been some reporting on that. I'm not as confident in that as I think it's possible, but I don't think it's like it's 100% or anything like that, knowing what I know, not that I have any sourcing. But I think I don't think they're going to do a ton of it. Like, I don't think they're going to trade like McCollum. They're going to wait for DeJounte to come back, that sort of thing. Is it hard not to find yourself cheering against players and teams? At times. Generally speaking, though, I and Nate sometimes mocks me for this, especially offline, that I do genuinely root for every player and team to do well. Like and especially like I'm happy when I think a team is going to be bad and they're good. I'm very happy about that. I want more good teams in the league. I want more good players in the league, all that sort of stuff. The one that's the hardest in that sense of like kind of trying to remain objective or anything like that is for me is stuff like domestic violence or anything like that. Like that in those sorts of circumstances, when it's credible or a conviction or no contest, then for me it gets kind of hard to kind of treat it the same way because that's just something that I respond to viscerally.
Yep. Yeah, as far as rooting for certain teams to lose, I do once a series is over, I absolutely root against the team that's down. I mean, like not technically over, but obviously over.
Yeah. The shorthand that I use is once I know who's going to win a series, I want it to be over as fast as possible.
Zone defense, Jackson tried to post up. They didn't really get a great shot against that, though. I thought that was not a good enough shot for Bane to take at that point in the shot clock. Washington into Edey. Oh, he just got stuffed. Williams fires the three. Edey trying to run it down, and the Mavs coaching staff helpfully lets the referees know that it's Mavs ball. Yeah, I think Legs likes Brandon Williams too. So Lively is back. He's also on a minutes limit pretty clearly. Looks like
I don't think that ball ever went in bounds.
Yeah, they tried to throw a bounce pass and it hit the sideline. Good pressure on the sideline. Turnover by Williams. He's got a turnover and a wild miss at the rim that led to transition. And he'll pick up Pippen full court. Grizz going with their legendary Vancouver Grizzlies uniforms. After all the success they had in those, makes sense to go with them.
Yeah. They could bring out Steve Francis at halftime.
Jackson, double teamed again. Bane eluding Williams. Yes, Desmond Bane hasn't gotten the three-pointer open, but he has just been so locked in. He's got some of the most beautiful back rim makes in the league right now. Williams into Edey, another wild drive. He's been a little too aggressive. Bane galloping down floor, and he's grabbed by PJ Washington.
Something that stood out in that first quarter is as great as things went for the Memphis Grizzlies, Desmond Bane only had 4 points and had a couple, I think he had 1 or 2 misses. And so could things have gone even better? Oh, and that's the third on PJ Washington.
18-point game. I would be loath to take him out at this point, given how far down they are. When he comes back in, the game could be over. Jackson off the screen, blowing by Davis around Lively. What a finish! Yeah. Oh, did you see him reaching for that groin?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the exact kind of movement that's going to irritate it, trying to slide from left to right. You'll recall that's the movement that had him injuring it initially. Edie switching on to Davis. Tries to power in, rushes it. Edie, great job contesting and got back to help with the rebound. Yeah, 20-point game here. Jackson picked up by Clay. Advantage matchup for him. Works onto him. Floater. And, oh, what a block by Lively. That was not goaltending. Here's Marshall. Edie comes over to help. Jackson was glued to AD. Corner. Williams has lost that outside touch that bedeviled the Kings. Pippen against Williams. They are running everything through Jaren right now and getting double teams out of it. Now Davis is on Bane, double team. Bane fires it from the logo. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was beautiful. Bane knew he had AT on him, knew the double team was coming. He set up 4 feet behind the line, and he knew that Davis couldn't get there.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to call it here?
I do.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here. I confident that I will come back. I won't hold Danny to it. If it gets like, if the Mavs tie it or take the lead at any point.
Oh yeah, I should be back if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of content here. I mean, we'll probably, especially, I think I only sort of have so many days in a row I can do this before I need to take a break. So now maybe this will get us through Monday with Clippers Denver.
It's like that. It's like that blowout game that Kawhi only played part of, and then he got to play the next game.
Exactly. All right, we'll be back, and thanks so much for joining us. I hope you all respect the decision to take off. This one seems like it's not going to be close, and if it gets close, we'll come back. All right, talk to y'all next time.